What up, YouTube? It's your guy Truth coming back at you for another video. I want to talk to you today about utilizing what you already have to get ahead. Right? I think all too often I see people who, for lack of a better way of saying it, whine and complain about where their spot is in life. And I'm a believer that you have what you have because of you, right? A lot of the circumstances that we're in life is mainly because we put ourselves there, right? We don't like to accept that, but that in itself gives us power, right? Because if you're responsible for the hole you're in, that means you can be also responsible for getting yourself out. I think the key term that we want to focus on is accountability. I think in order for you to be successful in life, you have to take some form of accountability. Otherwise, you'll feel as if you are just a passenger on the ship riding the waves, right? You're going to and fro with the waves, and you have no direction and control in your life. I'm a personal believer that if you want things to be different in your life, then you have to make changes in order to affect that outcome. All too often, we adopt the attitude of woe is me, why are these things always happening to me? I can't ever catch a break. I mean, all of us have heard these things. Some of us have said these things, and even I've been guilty of saying those things over the years. But what I learned, years ago, is to reinforce my mental fortitude with positive self-talk. I know it sounds crazy, sounds new agey, but especially as a Christian, I believe that the power of life and death is in the tongue. So if you want to have life, you speak life into your situation. But we're always continuously speaking death into our situation. We worry about things we can't control instead of doing things we can control and letting the chips fall where they may. All right, I heard it said not too long ago, and I'm not trying to preach to anybody, but we get three answers from God: either yes, not yet, or I have something else in mind for you. Right, and you got to understand that anything that you're hoping and praying for in life, sometimes that thing may not just be ready for you yet, or it may not be for you. And you have to understand that if you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, with that spiritually, physically, mentally, that the things that you're waiting on, they may not just be for you. And sometimes I think we take a step in the wrong direction because we are wanting things to happen that may not be best for us, right? I've come to this realization because sometimes I've looked at a time in my life where it was full of turmoil and indecision, and I felt directionless. And then I look back at that time and I'm like, if I would have had my way, then I wouldn't have the success that I have currently, right? If things would have went the way I wanted them to go, then I wouldn't be having the blessings that I have right now. So I think that's an important point that everyone needs to take into account. That sometimes the things that you want to happen and they don't seem like they're happening, it may just because God has something else in store for you, right? And who knows better than God, right? And I take solace in that because I can look back at plenty of situations, and I mean, like for example, some of us can look back at relationships and be like, okay, at the time of that relationship, like I wanted it to work so bad, I was praying for it to work, I was doing everything I was supposed to do, and it just didn't work out. It's because that person wasn't for you, and that's okay. You have to understand that certain people are in your life for a reason, season, in a lifetime. And so I also heard it said years ago, sometimes we're holding on to people that God is trying to tear out of our lives, and God is not going to force you to do something, but those who he loves, he's going to try to get you up out that situation, right? And, because we are free will and we're his children, we're not slaves, we're still allowed to, make our own decision, and we fight him so hard when he's trying to give us every sign and show us every reason that this person shouldn't be in our lives, and yet we're praying, oh God, change my partner. Oh God, touch their heart. Oh God, do this. Oh God, do that. That person needs to pray for themselves. They got to want to change, right? If you're in a relationship with somebody and they're not giving you what you feel you deserve in a relationship, and I'm not talking about no far-fetched thing, because I think sometimes in modernity, modern women and men expect these things from their partner that are unreasonable, right? For example, I always, circle back to people who want traditional people in their lives, whether they be men or women, because, I'm not going to just put the onus on women, even though that's, a lot of talking points nowadays, women want traditional men, and yet they're not traditional women. I mean, guys do the same thing, they want a traditional woman who cooks and cleans and take care of the children. But in order to have those things, you need to be able to protect and provide for her. And a lot of times we can't protect or provide for her, but we still want those, we want that submission from our wives, right? But you're not leading her as a man, you're not making her comfortable, you're not making her feel safe, right? And safe comes in a variety of forms of factors, right? So safe may not always just be physical, but it may be, financial. Are you making good financial decisions that she feels comfortable and safe with allowing you to lead her in finances? And are you able to strategize a retirement plan for you guys that, makes her feel like, look, this guy's going to take care of me. He knows what he's talking about, right? And vice versa for women. Sometimes, women will get in a situation and they want to fight tooth and nail their husbands for control of the situation. And I'll tell you, ladies, right now, there's not. I'm sure there may be, a guy here and there, but there's not too many men who are on top of their game that are men that you want. That's going to want you back when they got to fight you for it. I heard a phrase that women say, I'll be feminine when I find the right guy. But you don't know how many guys have avoided you just because of your masculinity. Guys that you didn't even, weren't even aware might have considered you, but because of your masculine, traits, they avoided you, right? Sometimes, because, women have tunnel vision and, like the guys they want, that's all they see. And they look over some guys, and some guys just avoid them completely. Like, I was in corporate America, and I'm still in, somewhat corporate America, but I was in corporate America for a while. And I know so many women who were, go-getters, and, they were on top of their craft as far as, the industry is concerned. But when it came to dating, it was like two different people were in control of their lives. One person was in control of their professional life, and another person was in control of their personal lives. Because the decisions they made for the men that they dated, you would think that this person had no clue how life actually worked based on the men they were picking. And I see it all too often. I feel that sometimes when a woman can't get the man they want, they settle for the man they can control, or they settle for the man that they feel will need them, right? By example, you might have a woman who's working a corporate job. She has all these things going for her, but she's dating a dude who doesn't have a car. Doesn't have a job. He drops off, and when I've seen it all too often, I was in banking for years. And I'd see, these women get dropped off in the morning by, for lack of a better term, a pookie. And, here's this woman, she's on top of her game of meetings, she's a powerhouse in the corporate world, but yet pookie picks her up in a tank top looking like he didn't smoke all day long, ain't done nothing. And it's late picking her up. I've walked out of the office plenty of times, and, I see these, very attractive, women, like, hey, what you got going on? I'm just waiting on my guy to come pick me up. Like, dude, you ain't done nothing all day and you still late picking up your woman? What are you doing? So I think that I say all that, to put a point on it is, sometimes we, both men and women, are very delusional on the men and women we want to bring into our lives. And I think if we took accountability for where we were in lives and what we were presenting, if you took a look and say, okay, what does the woman that I want, what type of guy does she want, and made yourself that, and vice versa. If you looked at, what type of guy you wanted and say, okay, this type of guy I want, that type of guy, what type of woman does he want? And you can't look at your accomplishments, because if I'm accomplished, I don't care about your accomplishments as far as, how much money they're making and what type of, power person you are. Most guys don't. Most guys who have their things together don't really care about those things. We care about you being, well spoken and cultured. Because we want to be able to take you to, dinners and luncheons and things like that and have you represent as well. But we're not overly concerned about how much money you're making because, we know that we're going to be spending the majority of the money and we probably never going to see any of that money as far as, counting it towards, what we can afford in life, right? Especially, when it comes to a lot of women say, they want a guy that can take care of it. So if you want a guy that can take care of you, you want a guy that, handles his business, why would that guy be concerned about how much money you make? Because you're according to you, it's not a factor. Your money's not going to be a factor in y'all's lifestyle. So why would it be a factor in him considering you for, somebody he would date, right? And date marry. And I find it weird, guys, that do think that. Like when a guy be like, oh man, she making all this money, I don't care about how much money you make. I care about how you treat me. Now, if the money you made, you spent it on me, like you said me and you were dating and I'm taking you on dates and, doing all these extravagant things for you. And every time I look up, you buying me things. Oh yeah. Now I can consider like, yeah, Shorty taking real good care of me. But what I care about most are you kind to me? Are you taking care of me? Are you giving me peace in my home? Can I see myself, if I'm fighting the world for us to survive every day, if I come home, am I feeling comforted when I walk in, right? If those things aren't, what you convey towards your man, then you can't expect that man to really want to be with you. I find it so amazing that people come up with all the things they want in a person, but they never consider what that person may want from them. And I feel it's, beyond selfish to say, well, I want this, this, and this from a person and not be, considerate on what you're giving to that person. Like imagine, to take this from a guy's perspective, I'm overweight, I'm lazy, I ain't got a lot of money, but I want to knock out supermodel. Why would that knock out supermodel who's cooking, cleaning, taking care of you, the kids, and all, doing all these things and being a traditional woman? Why would she want somebody that can't take care of her? Why do you think you deserve that? And more importantly, why do you think that she deserves you? So she's worked on her body. She's become, a coveted woman amongst women, but she's going to come and give her best and lower herself to you. And I think women need to do the same thing. Not all you guys are 10s, first and foremost. So for you to believe that, okay, well, I'm a 10, and, I deserve a 10 as far as with men, you're delusional. And I think sometimes women misconstrue, I ain't gonna say sometimes, majority of the time, women misconstrue attention and affection as far as, this guy's showing me attention, he wants to sleep with me, as this is the type of guy I can have a relationship with. That's not the case. There's plenty of guys out here who will date down, will not even date down, will sleep down, but won't give that woman any type of ability to date, and have anything more than just a couple night stands. Like you can be in his rotation, if that makes sense. So like I said, I think that everybody just needs to take accountability for where they are in life. And if you want something different, you need to start making these changes, whether that be, financially, romantically, emotionally. You have to take accountability and recognize you are where you are in life because you chose to be there, which is the good news. Means if you chose to be there, you can choose to not be there and do something different. Just my thoughts for today. If you have any disagreement with that, or you have your own take on it, please post in the comments below. If you could do me a favor, if you made this far in the video and you like what I'm talking about, if you can hit the like button and comment and subscribe, it really will help me out with the YouTube algorithm. Thanks, guys. Till next time.